everyone, and welcome to this episode of Soul Seeds, where the lovely Jessica is my guest expert for today. And Jessica is both an intuitive guide and a medium. And the topic we are going to discuss today is the purpose-driven life. So thank you so much, Jessica, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would love to know, what is your definition of purpose?
That is such a good question because don't we all have a different definition of what
Mhm.
purpose is? And I
Right.
think sometimes the way we define a word can really either block us or unlock
Mhm.
us based
Definitely.
on so I'm going to tell you what I see a lot out there. I see a lot of people thinking that they have to discover their purpose,
Mm.
or they've lost it somehow, and that
Mhm.
there's this one thing that they're supposed to be doing,
Mhm.
and they brought it in from birth, and if they could just figure out that one thing, then everything would come together in their life. They just have
Mhm.
to figure out their purpose.
Right.
But the more that I've driven into this idea of purpose and looking at the different aspects, I've realized that it isn't actually one thing.
Mhm.
And it's not something we find or discover, it's something we reclaim. It's
Right.
always present in our life, whether we consciously know it's there or not. It's
Mhm.
what gets us up in the morning, it's what drives us, it's what makes us excited about life. It's the things that we're really invested in. And often you'll see almost like a beautiful thread that runs through everything you've done, everything you will do. And that's your purpose,
Mhm.
but it expresses itself wildly differently. Like
Mhm.
in everything that you do. And
Right.
so I have had so many different kinds of jobs. I have been a musical theater actor. I have been a flight attendant. I have bartended in New York City. I have been a vocal coach and taught music to like the 6 and under crowd, like the littles, a piano teacher, all these different things,
Mhm.
right? The list goes on. And throughout all of them, though, there's been this kind of similar thread,
Mhm.
this purpose that comes through. And and I know that the way that I'm expressing and what I'm doing now for my work is expressing my purpose for
Mhm.
sure. And I also know that however that expresses itself, it will change in the future.
Mhm.
And I do also know that purpose isn't exactly what, like, it's not what we do for a job,
Right.
it's what we do in our lives. It's
Mhm.
what we do in our lives.
And people
It's
tend to
how we
think
show
that
up.
it's just this one thing, and that one thing stays the same forever. But of course, it's not. Life
No.
changes, so we change, and our purpose changes alongside with it. Right?
Yeah, we evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And why wouldn't everything around us evolve as well? And purpose
Makes
is not
sense.
excluded from that.
Mm-hmm. And when you have found that thread, that purpose, how can you then live with it, or yeah, along with it?
Yeah. So it's looking at this thread, and I know the first thing is like, well, how do I know what my thread is?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even matter. It's more like the thing with purpose is if you reflect back, what matters to you? What
Mm-hmm.
are you finding meaning and fulfillment in? So if I'm looking back through all the different things that I've done over my life, I realize that one of the things that's really important is that people are seen and heard, that
Mm-hmm.
they're valued, and their stories, who they are, and everything that they've done up to this point, for me, is really important. I love hearing people's stories. I love hearing their wisdom, their experience. I like to really know who they are in my classes and my spaces, but just in general, even when we go out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always starting conversations with people, or people are actually starting conversations with me, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what, and I'm always willing to listen, and I'm curious, and I love to ask questions, and that all weaves into that purpose of connection,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of really wanting to connect with people, which weaves it into its current thing where I help people connect with their soul and their self and to spirit. But before, I helped people connect with themselves when I did theater and music and seeing a reflection or a mirror of expression through art. I
Mm-hmm.
connected with people when I bartended or when I was a flight attendant or when I was teaching music. It was all present always, and it always will be, even when
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware that that was my purpose.
Right. Again, that's the awareness again of what I think it's really what lights you up in life, and
Yeah.
to have the courage to follow that.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
just make it sort of a guiding light, not a
Mhm.
container, not a box, not a should,
Right.
not a have to.
Right.
But when you're looking at all those options out there, which one lights you up?
Mhm.
Which one makes you excited?
Right.
Which one gives you meaning? And that's the one
Mm.
you
And you don't
follow.
have to make it your job. You can,
No.
make it a hobby or whatever.
Correct.
Just yeah.
Whatever. You could be at the grocery store, my favorite place. I hate the grocery store. You could be at the grocery store and getting food for the week, and you could be living your purpose.
Yeah, if you're excited about cooking a very healthy meal and you enjoy choosing your ingredients in the grocery
Yes,
store or at a local farmer's market, or just make
exactly.
make that your little, I think it's like a little magic that you can create in your life, right?
I love that. Yes, magic is a choice. We can
Yeah.
have it present in many different parts of our life.
And we
Yeah.
tend to take so many of these things for granted as well, right? So that we don't see it as magic anymore.
No, it's just sort of just us. But then when we look at other people's lives, we see the magic. Isn't
Mhm.
that funny how that works?
Right.
For us, it's just us day to day. But then we look at someone else and they're like, ooh. And they look at
Yeah.
us and they're like, ooh.
Yeah, they go to the grocery store as well. And I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah. So yeah, it's like the grass is always greener on the other side, right?
Always.
Yeah. I used to say it's just greener where you actually water it.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. That's good.
And how can you make that more like a practice for every day, where you actually get to feel and experience that purpose-driven magic, really?
Yeah, purpose is made up of a few different things that I can kind of piece together. So one would be our values, one part is our intentions,
Hmm.
one part is our intuition. When they come together,
Hmm.
they help us create our purpose, help us get clarity. And then there's community, because if we have purpose but we're not bringing it into the collective, we're not bringing it into our communities, what is it for?
Hmm.
You have to have that collective element in order for things to come alive. I don't care
Mm.
what you're doing.
Mhm.
There has to be an interaction
Right.
of some sort.
Yeah,
And
shared
so
magic is even better than just solo magic,
exactly,
basically.
exactly. And the community and the collective often calls your purpose forward so that you can see it better because they
Hmm.
reflect it back at you. I just
Right.
think it's a pivotal piece that people don't talk about a lot.
Mm.
But where I think really purpose comes into shine is you look at all those pieces, right, that kind of make up this spiritual compass. You look at all those pieces and you're like, all right, well, what are my intentions for this?
Hmm.
How often do we just start something without any intentions? I am
Mm.
guilty of
Right.
it and I teach this. Like,
Right.
okay.
Same.
Gonna be honest, I'm only human. But it's when I don't start off with clear intentions that things get lost, they get
Hmm.
murky. My purpose isn't going to come through because I didn't even start off with an intention or,
Mm.
values. What do I believe? What is important to me? Or listening
Hmm.
to my intuition.
Right.
So it's these small acts, not big ones, but the
Hmm.
small things that we do consciously. And once it's about
Hmm.
slowing down and being aware. I know that is the lamest thing you want to hear, but slowing down and being very conscious and mindful of, okay, what am I actually wanting to do here? And
Hmm.
does this feel like it's in alignment? Does this feel good? Or am I just saying yes because I think I have to, or I
Hmm.
think I should, or someone told me to?
Right.
So I think it's in the small choices that purpose comes alive every day. And
Hmm.
I also think it comes really to the forefront when you're navigating really challenging times.
Hmm.
That's when our purpose is like a life preserver and it keeps our
Mm.
head above water.
It's
Is
our
when
anchor, really.
it is your anchor. Everything is
Yeah.
going coming down around you. I love the tarot. I use the tarot often. I call it my tower moments where the
Hmm.
tower is coming down and in the tarot, if you're not familiar, it's this usually in traditional, it's this big tower. People are
Hmm.
jumping out the windows. It's on fire. I mean,
It's crumbling.
distress.
It's
It's
yes.
crumbling. It's coming
It's a
apart at the
help.
seams. So I like to call those my tower moments. And
Right.
that's where my purpose really anchors me in and keeps me above water is when everything's crumbling down, because at
Hmm.
my core, I know who I am.
Hmm.
And no matter how much smoke and fire are around me, I can see the way forward or the way out
Hmm.
because I understand what matters to me, what lights
Hmm.
me up, and what my purpose is.
Yeah, and where you want to go in life, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't mean we don't crumble it all apart.
Hmm.
It's going to still happen, but at least, and sometimes it crumbles apart so that you can get more in alignment too with
Oh yeah.
purpose. But even in the moments where it feels like it's just happening for no reason at all, that's what's going to keep you going.
Hmm.
That's what's going to keep you moving forward.
And usually when those things happen, when you're in the midst of it and you feel like, oh my gosh, this is not making any sense. Why is this happening to me? It's all way too much. And then even it can be a year later, few years later, and you're like, wait a minute, I've got to know myself so much better now, and I have a lot more understanding of like who I am and where I want to go, right?
Yes, 100%. So my father in 2021 was diagnosed with a terminal cancer, and then less than a year later my husband was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Oh,
And it was right back to back, and so I was reading all of these books on mindset and cancer and health and everything to help me show up better for both of them and support them
mhm,
during their journeys. And one of the things that really struck me, and this was in 2021, was that every single book mentioned that the best thing that you can do for someone who has an illness, whether it's terminal or chronic, is to help them find purpose. Even if
oh,
it's just getting up and
mm,
mowing the lawn or doing the
mm,
dishes, just little things. But when they have purpose,
mm,
they're able to have more strength. Their outcome for their health is better. How they navigate life, how they see their situation, their mindset, their mental health, their emotional health, everything increases when you
mm.
have access to your purpose, which I think is huge that these medical books are telling us this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Spiritual world's been telling you all this forever, but now
mm,
now medicine is jumping on board and saying, yeah, purpose
yeah.
might be kind of important.
It's that lifeline that you can hold on to when you're feeling lost,
When you're
really.
feeling lost. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.